Thank you, Sylvia. A round of applause, guys, ladies and gentlemen. Let me come to you, Robert. Robert, you went to school. What the hell are you doing in Chikubo?
Thank you so much, Mr. Rugendo. And maybe let me thank you for the choice of the people that are seated here. I'm proud and honored to associate with them. I think, like Patrick put it earlier, that is already an association with money. And of course, everyone knows Patrick is someone everyone wants to be, to become like. He is personally the person I look at as I do what I do. And Sylvia, I can't talk much about her because everyone knows. She talked a few things about Miss Uganda. You know the difference between the Miss Uganda she used to organize and the Miss Uganda we get now. So, what am I doing in Chikubo? I'm in Chikubo to make money.
Maybe because you proceed, the reason I ask that question is that there's the thinking that because you have a degree, you have a PhD, you cannot make it out there in Chikubo and be like those guys down. Is there money in Chikubo or the money is in MTN and Uganda Revenue Authority?
Yeah, I think that question relates to what you have many times asked Sylvia. Is there money in clothing? So let me start from there. First of all of us are united here. We are seated. We don't know the food you ate at lunch. We don't know the house you live in. We don't know the means you used to come here. You could have come driving a Porsche car, or you could have come in a taxi or in a boda. But we have you. We see you, we want to know you. The only thing we can see on you is clothes, because 90% of a human body is covered in clothing. Therefore, there's no doubt that clothes make a very powerful statement, though silently, about you. It is therefore imperative that we choose the kind of clothing we put on. And that's why me and Sylvia and the like, we think there is a lot of money in doing a business of clothing. It's not about what you studied. It's about what you have feelings for. It's about the passion. Everyone has talked about passion. It's about the attitude. In fact, as I do business, of course, we employ people. Skills are very important. But I'd rather employ someone with the right attitude than one with the right skills. Because skills can be acquired anytime. You can train someone how to operate a machine. You can train someone how to write an account. But it's very difficult to impart a positive attitude into someone who is naturally negative about things. So it's a passion, it's a thinking. The yes attitude is more important than anything. And the passion I had for doing business. The first time I came to Kampala, I got a lift from one of my distant uncles. And we happened to pass at the area of the tax park, which was one at that time. When I peeped through the window and looked down, I saw so many cars. At that time, I couldn't see were taxis or personal cars or whatever. I didn't know what it meant because I was from deep down in the village of Chitabi, which is located in Ushenyi. So when I saw so many vehicles parked, I said, oh, there are so many vehicles in the world like this. I must at one time own one. You see, that's something. I was in senior one at that time. My family, we've never had a record of anything to dream of a vehicle. But at that time I said, no, if there are these many vehicles in this country, in this world, me, I even thought that was the, the stock of the world. I said, if this is the stock of the world, at one time I must own one. And indeed, guys, don't laugh at me when you see me trying to drive very expensive ones, like the one supposed to be driven by Sudhir. It's that drive, the feeling that you can make it. Once you think you can, yes, you will. But if you think you can't, then who will? It's about the passion and the feeling, the belief.
Robert, did you have capital? How do you get this capital? Where is it?
As soon as I left school, I tried to look for jobs. I made over 1,000 applications in 1 year. I had a sister who was working in one of the government ministries, and she could afford to give me free photocopy. So every day, every morning, I would go there, make 20 copies, and make sure I visit every office around. I did not have a godparent to get for me a job in these government institutions and bodies. So I couldn't get a job in that 1 year. So what I did was the only successful person in our family was my brother, who was a clearing agent at Entebbe. So I decided to go where he was working, because of course I had been visiting him because he used to pay my school fees. So I started hanging around his area. I begged him, can you incorporate me in your company? He said, please, I have educated you. I want you to get a good job in government so you can put our family. Don't come and to join me here to do this unserious business, which has no guarantee for future. But I couldn't get a job, so I hung around there without any job. But I could easily see what they were doing, and I quickly learned how to do it myself. And I started getting, people started hiring me to do their job, to handle their job on their behalf. Eventually, even my own brother started paying me. He would subcontract me because for him he had access to clients, to customers. So he would get a job and subcontract it to me. Within my first year at the airport, I was able to buy my own car. Within the next year, I was able to marry, and I did, yes. And my marriage was not a very cheap one. My inspiration is, I always dream big. I was from a humble origin. I could not afford to go to marry into a very humble origin again. So I had to look for, I did not marry money, but I had to look for a family that can give me ideas, that I can learn, have something to learn from. So, and it's not easy to do that unless you are also able to show cause. But that said, I want to say that 2-3 years down the road, just like the clearing business is, it couldn't sustain me for long. And I started getting problems, incomes were not flowing well, so I started struggling. That's when I thought of, I must get out of this. And the best way was to establish my own business. I got inspiration from the people I used to handle during the clearing. So what the message here is, every job that you do, create a relationship. Me, even right now, the person who works for me, we are friends. Create a relationship with the people you see. You never know who is going to help you tomorrow. The relationship I created, the friendship I created with the people I was clearing for, is the one that helped me because they guided me into doing business. That is the reason I'm doing clothing, because most of them used to do clothing. And it's because I used to clear clothing that I also studied and knew a lot about it. I knew how much these people buy the clothing because I could look at their invoices, and I knew how much tax was involved, and so I knew how much they were selling, so I could easily calculate and know if I went into this business, I would make money. I did not have money to start by the time I started. What I did was to sell the only thing sellable that I had at that time, which was a car. I sold my Toyota Corolla Chikumi, 7 million shillings in 2001. It is that money that started Select Garments on Mtasa Cafero, 4th floor, and up to now, everything that I have originated from that 7 million shillings.
Thank you so much, guys. I think I noticed that even if you can sell your laptop and start a big bank like that of Sudir, I also noticed that it's possible to also engage in conjugal entrepreneurship. Is that the case? But before you say anything, guys, so much for these personal stories. They're riveting. You can learn so much from them. Now, my fellow panelists, we have about 10 questions that some of these people asked. So I'm going to start with you, Patrick, with this question. Is it possible to be an entrepreneur while being employed at the same time?